All right, so we've got some pretty interesting stuff to dig into today.
Yeah, it looks like a good one.
You sent us some info on SXM Cigars, looks like their website, and some reviews from TripAdvisor.
Right.
And it seems like you're really trying to get a handle on, what is this place? What are people saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to give you the full rundown on SXM Cigars.
Yep.
Without you having to go through all the stuff yourself, all the sources and everything.
Exactly. Yeah, you've provided us with a really great snapshot of kind of, how the business presents itself.
Right.
And then also how, actual customers, what their experience has been like.
Yep.
So I think between those two, we can really get a good picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's just start with the basics. Like, what is SXM Cigars?
Okay.
So their website tells us that they're located on Rhine Road in Maho Village.
Okay.
And for those who don't know, that's on the Dutch side of St. Martin.
Right.
And they're pretty straightforward. They sell Cuban cigars and more.
With a lot of enthusiasm.
With a lot of enthusiasm and exclamation points, yeah.
3 exclamation points.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of, that jumped out at me right away.
Yeah.
But something else that was interesting is they mentioned being in business for 28 years.
Wow.
So that's a pretty long time.
That's a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
In the cigar world.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to premium cigars.
Yeah.
It takes time to build relationships with suppliers, to ensure consistent quality,
right,
to really kind of build a loyal customer base.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they've been around for 28 years, they've weathered, the ups and downs of the market, fluctuations and, availability and pricing and all that.
Right.
Really says something.
Yeah, and it seems like they're, they want to make sure that customers feel good about what they're buying there.
Yeah.
So they talk about professional customer service, commitment to quality.
Right.
And a 100% satisfaction guaranteed promise. And they really emphasize, this is tied to 100% authentic products, Cuban cigars, and so much more.
It sounds like they're trying to really reassure people.
Yeah.
Especially, given that there's always, concerns about counterfeit Cuban cigars outside of Cuba.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think they're trying to get ahead of that.
Definitely.
And they make it pretty easy to contact them.
Okay.
They have a couple of phone numbers there. It looks like one is for maybe the Dutch side, and then there's another one that I'm thinking is maybe a French side number for WhatsApp.
Got it.
And then email address info@sxmcigars.com.
Easy enough.
And then just some good practical information. They're open 10:30 a.m. to 9:00 p.m. every day.
Oh, wow. So they've got pretty good hours there.
Yeah. So that's helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we know what they sell and we know how to reach them.
Right.
Let's talk about where you actually find them.
Okay.
So the TripAdvisor info that you sent lists SXM Cigars under things to do in Phillipsburg. And they specifically call it a cigar bar, and they rank it at number 6 out of 18 for nightlife in Phillipsburg.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it seems like it's, maybe more than just a retail spot.
Mm-hmm.
It might be somewhere where you can actually go and sit and smoke.
Yeah. I mean, being listed under nightlife suggests it's more of an experience.
Right.
Rather than just like a quick transaction in and out.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm picturing drinks and maybe some music and just a very, relaxing kind of vibe.
Yeah, kind of a lounge atmosphere or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And it seems like it's pretty convenient if you're staying in that area.
Okay.
Because one reviewer mentioned that it's just around the corner from the Sonesta Hotel.
Oh, wow.
So, if you're staying there or nearby, you don't have to go far to find a cigar shop.
That's great, especially for tourists.
Mm-hmm.
If it's easy to find.
Yeah.
And, within walking distance of, your accommodations, that's a huge plus.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into the real heart of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, what are they selling and what are people saying about it?
Right.
And it looks like Cuban cigars are really the main thing here.
Okay.
This comes up again and again in the reviews.
Uh-huh.
People specifically mention buying genuine Cubans at SXM Cigars.
Interesting.
And one reviewer even warns against buying from nearby T-shirt shops where, you might get fakes.
Oh, wow.
So it seems like they're really known for having the real deal.
Yeah, that's a big endorsement.
Yeah.
Especially, in a market where, like we were saying, there's so much concern about authenticity.
Right.
The fact that somebody's, in their review specifically saying, hey, go here.
Yeah.
Because the other places are selling fakes. That's a big deal.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's not just about the product itself.
Right.
It's about, people trusting that it is what they say it is.
Yeah, the trust factor is huge.
Yeah. Okay, so what about the experience of actually buying there?
So this is where the customer service part really comes through in the feedback.
Okay.
People use phrases like very knowledgeable and great to talk to when they're describing the staff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that can make or break a cigar buying experience,
Right.
especially for people who are new to it,
Yeah.
having somebody who can guide you and answer your questions and maybe suggest something you've never tried before.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of the fun.
And we even get some specifics on what this good service looks like.
Okay.
People talk about staff helping them pick out cigars.
Okay.
One person even mentioned that they were offered water or a beer while they were browsing.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is a nice touch.
Yeah.
Someone else mentioned getting general cigar advice.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like they're really willing to share their expertise.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes you feel more welcome.
Yeah.
Like they're not just trying to rush you out the door with your wallet empty.
Right.
They're actually trying to create a good experience.
Yeah, absolutely. There's even a mention of the owner, Gary.
Okay.
One person says they've been a customer for a while and that Gary is friendly and knowledgeable.
Nice.
So, when an owner is that involved and clearly has a rapport with the customers, I think that really sets a place apart.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it shows that they're passionate about the business.
Yeah.
That they really care about their customers and,
right.
that kind of thing is hard to fake.
Yeah. Okay. So Cuban cigars are the main attraction, it seems.
Yeah.
But one review did mention buying white Hennessy SXM cigars.
Okay.
So this suggests that maybe they have their own branded cigars, or maybe they sell other non-Cuban varieties as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
While Cuban cigars are obviously a big draw, it's smart to have a variety of options.
Right.
For different tastes, preferences, price points.
Yeah, exactly.
It shows that they're not just like a one-trick pony.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about, reputation overall. So based on what we have, they have a perfect 5 out of 5 bubble rating on TripAdvisor.
Wow, that's impressive.
Which is pretty amazing. And on top of that, they've received a Traveler's Choice Award.
Oh, wow.
So that's, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's not something that TripAdvisor just hands out.
No.
They give it to businesses that consistently get great reviews.
Yeah.
And I think they have to be in the top 10% of properties on the site.
Right.
So that's a real stamp of approval.
Absolutely. And just to give you an idea of, kind of where they fit in the landscape, TripAdvisor also lists some nearby restaurants, things like Roma Restaurant and JX Steakhouse.
Okay.
And attractions like Maho Beach and Casino Royale.
Oh, wow.
So it seems like it's in a pretty lively area with other things to do.
Sounds like a fun spot.
Yeah. So you could, make a night of it.
Definitely.
And then finally, going back to their website for a second.
Okay.
They have this really clear invitation to get in touch. They encourage people to contact them via call or WhatsApp for more information.
Yeah.
So, it seems like they're really open to answering questions, maybe even taking orders that way.
Yeah, that's a really customer-focused approach.
Yeah.
Making it easy for people to reach out and get the information they need.
Absolutely. Okay, so to kind of wrap things up, it seems like, based on everything we've discussed, that SXM Cigars is really a well-regarded spot.
Seems like it.
They're known for their selection of Cuban cigars.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they have a reputation for authenticity, which is, very important.
Huge.
In that market. And they get consistently high marks for their service, friendly, knowledgeable staff.
Yeah.
And their location seems super convenient for visitors.
Right in the heart of it all.
Yeah, exactly. And then the TripAdvisor ratings and the Traveler's Choice Award really just underscore that positive reputation.
Absolutely.
So what do you think when you take all that together?
It definitely paints a compelling picture of a business that really cares about both the products they sell and the customers that they're selling them to.
Exactly. Okay, so now for you, the listener.
Okay.
Let's say you're planning a trip to St. Maarten.
Right.
And you have, even the slightest interest in cigars. Based on what we've learned about SXM Cigars, does this sound like a place you'd want to check out?
Yeah.
What really stood out to you? Was it that they're known for having genuine Cubans? Was it the friendly, helpful service?
Right.
Or was it just, the convenient location?
Yeah, any of that stuff.
Yeah, I'd love to know what caught your attention.
And to take it a step further, if you're, if this has piqued your interest, you might want to do a little more digging yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look at some more recent reviews on TripAdvisor, see if the positive trend continues.
Right.
Maybe look at some online cigar communities and forums, see if SXM Cigars gets mentioned, that kind of thing. You know, get some more perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe from some fellow cigar enthusiasts.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that is our deep dive into SXM Cigars.
Yeah.
We hope you found it informative.
We hope you learned something.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.